And that's how you begin to gain the respect of the men, when they see that you have something to offer, and more importantly, that you have the ability to move other members of the legislature to your position on this.
When did you come to Albany? What year, do you remember?
I was elected in 1998. My first year was 1999.
I was elected in '04, and '05 is when I came in.
Okay, so I'll start with you because you've been here longer. Do you remember a moment when you walked in the door and saw something and just thought, oh, God, I can't believe I have to... I mean, some locker room humor or something that you had to deal with?
I've seen a lot of it through the years. I mean, it's a very different type of environment, but you have to learn how to navigate it to get things done for your district. And I think over time, if you just sit back, you learn how to navigate some of that, and you learn how to work with your colleagues. You learn how to have a camaraderie that is necessary, and not that you're giving up who you are or what you believe in. You just, you learn how to work in this legislative body.
Do you remember any incident in particular?
Well, you have to remember, Liz, I came out of the labor movement. So
right.
It was,
also male-dominated.
Right, incredibly male-dominated, so this was kind of a step up in terms of decorum, so I wasn't, you know...
And you are a member of the Senate Democrats, so for you to say that is really saying something. I'm sorry, but really.
You know, so, you know, I wasn't concerned about, you know, encountering a room full of men who might, you know, maybe treat me inappropriately. You know, again, coming out of the labor movement, I'd had years of experience with that, and that was one of the training grounds for me. You make men deal with you, you know, on your own terms, not on their terms.
I think too. I do remember one committee where I felt like I was being tested a little bit.
Oh, really?
And it had to do with waiving a 24-hour rule, and then and sometimes you just have to be tough, and you can be tough without swearing, without. You could just be tough and stand firm, and then I think you get more of a mutual respect with some people. But I do remember that moment when, in one particular committee meeting, I had to push back a little bit.
And that committee meetings are public. I actually remember. I remember a closed-door meeting that was reported on that you had an incident with another colleague that then leaked out. I mean, that kind of stuff is, you know, you have to deal with it and you have to talk about it, and it's not. It's probably not comfortable.
No, and certainly I've never been accused of being a shrinking violet, and I can stand my own ground. But yeah, I mean, look, it's different. It's different for women. In some respects, it can be harder. It's always harder to run for office for women. It's harder for us to raise money. It's harder for us to ask for money. It's harder for us to get organizations to support us, because they don't tend to think that we're going to be as effective in office, and we have to work twice as hard to eradicate that impression about women. And one of the other reasons that I've always said it's harder for women to run for office is women don't support women.
That's true. Yep.
That is a real problem in our society. You know, we continuously say we want to see more women in, you know, the governor's mansion or in the White House, but women don't support other women. And so what I generally tell people when they say to me, what can we do, when young women ask me, what can we do to get more women elected to office? I tell them, write a check. You know, women are not big donors. Where men understand the rules of the game. If you want to have the ability to impact the legislative process or see to it that the people that you believe in get elected, they know they have to invest. Women haven't yet quite reached that, and I think it's important that they start to look at things that way.
Do you think that's the case?
I do, and I'm just thinking, you know, with the three of us, one of the biggest things that we have and that we can contribute is, I know I feel very good when I walk into a school and someone says, a young girl said, what do I have to do to get involved? What can I do to maybe someday run for elected office? Or that's exciting, because that's the next generation. And with last night's election results, I think we have a lot to be proud of what we've accomplished, and I think we have to set the example for the next generation.
Now, we should say you're not seeking re-election.
I am not at this point. I'm taking a little bit of a break.
Was it really just was the special election and your experience in that congressional experience?
Well, you know, every experience you take away from it, good and bad. You take away lessons that you learned, things that you would have done differently. And I think, you know, as I step back for a while, it's just time. I've been in the State Assembly for 12 years. And it's time to step back and reevaluate. The reason I was running for Congress was because I was ready to do something different, and that still stays in place, so we'll see what happens.
Your party has a statewide slate with not a single woman.
That's troubling to me.
Your party has a statewide slate with maybe not a single woman, just one woman seeking statewide office, Nassau County DA Kathleen Rice. She's running for Attorney General.
Yeah,
Why?
Kristen Gillibrand.
Oh, right, but she's there. Right, that's true. That's true.
So we have two women.
You have two women who are, well, Kathleen Rice is not yet on the ballot. She's running in the primary, so we're not sure if she'll be on the general. What gives? I mean, I actually don't know the numbers. Do you know the numbers? How many women in your conference?
10.
Do you know how many?
Oh, no, excuse me. I'm sorry. There's 10 women in the Senate.
In the whole Senate.
There are 2 Republicans, Betty Little and Kathy Young, and then the rest of us are Democrats.
Out of a 62-member body. And do you know?
6.
In the Republican conference?
Yes.
Okay, and there's I'm not sure. There are quite a few in the
yes.
Democratic, but still, the majority are men.
Right.
What